Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Mindful Living. Today we have a truly inspiring guest joining us, Vincent. Welcome to the show, Vincent.
Thank you, Avik, so much. It's really a privilege to be here.
Lovely, lovely. So, dear listeners, before we start our conversation, I'd quickly love to introduce you to Vincent to all of you. Dear listeners, Vincent is a seasoned business advisor, consultant, and the author of the powerful book, Work Like a Warrior. So, from the hustle of Berlin to the introspective deserts of Burning Man, Vincent has navigated intense personal and the professional challenges like from burnout and stress to a transformational journey that led him to embrace the meditation, writing, and deeper purpose. So his mission is like helping others find groundedness and achieve satisfaction in their work and their lives. So get ready to explore the Vincent's journey from burnout to balance and discover how we can all learn to work like a warrior. So welcome to the show again, Vincent.
Thank you.
Great, great. So Vincent, like you have had a successful career spanning over 20 years in the business. So what was the turning point when you realized that something needed to change?
Yes, absolutely. This was in 2016, so a number of years ago. By that time, I had been very successful in my career at a global management consulting company. It's one of the biggest ones with over almost 750,000 people to today, and many people can figure it out or can look at my details. Anyway, I was a senior manager, so everything had been going great. I was married with 2 kids, and from the outside, everything looked great, but it really wasn't. I was increasingly disillusioned with my work. I was working on projects where I could tell that the solutions prescribed to the client weren't the right ones, and there were a lot of misconceptions that were happening. And this was a major part in me burning out on this project and the situation. There was also in my private life a lot of chaos. My marriage was not going well, and eventually we also separated. It's all good today, but at the time there was a lot of things that I didn't understand, and this was also contributing to me not being aligned with my calling, my vision, my purpose. So this was another situation, and as so often, the culmination sometimes comes through another external factor, and at the time it was the message that I received from my parents who were traveling, that my father had heart palpitations and he collapsed in this hotel in Bangkok. And fortunately, they were in a big city, so he was able to get help and he survived. But this was really the point where, as I was talking to my wife on the phone at the time in the city that I didn't like, in this building that I didn't care for because I was on a project that was making no sense to me, and then she asked me, "So, how are you doing?" And then I just collapsed and cried. And I could, because everything was just way too much. This was really the point where I realized I have to change something. I have to transform.
Exactly. I understood. And also, like, can you share like how meditation became a pivotal part of your journey from burnout to the groundedness, and also the impact that it have on your day-to-day life?
Yes, absolutely. So when I came out of this first burnout, I started looking at I started looking at some of the things that were in my behavior that weren't serving me. For example, that I would stay up too late. It's quite simple. Yeah, I wasn't doing enough exercise. I was drinking too much alcohol. These kind of common things. And this is really the key that I describe also in my book. And it's really, really important to understand. You have to understand what kind of sacrifices you have to make in order to really be successful and happy and grounded. This was the first step. But then as I then started into becoming self-employed, there was a moment in about 3 years ago where I felt like that things weren't going the way I would like them to. I wasn't seeing the results that I was aiming for. Also in my, also my relationship at the time. And then I had this recommendation, or I read this somewhere, that the advice that when things aren't going the way you would like them to, you need to understand how you are contributing to those outcomes yourself. And in that situation, I thought, well, then I probably need like a second opinion. I need an external opinion. And I thought, well, the first idea was that I would contact a therapist. And then by coincidence, as I found this therapist and I took him through my challenges and my situation, he said to me, okay, Mr. Gressieker, now the first thing you need to do from starting tomorrow is you will do a 30-minute meditation first thing after you get up in the morning. So maybe splash some water in your face, but this is the first thing after you get up. 30 minutes, no guidance, nothing, just try to think of nothing. And if you think of something, try to count and then see if these thoughts leave your mind. And then you also need to do it in the afternoon, the second time, or in the evening. And this was a huge thing. This was, I mean, mind-blowing, because for me, it was such a challenge to start from zero, to 30 minutes. It was very tough. But I was at the stage where I felt like I need to really figure out how to transform myself, become less anxious, and more in control of the things that I'm doing. And the results were really spectacular. Apart from being much clearer about what things to say yes to and what things to say no to, I also even noticed that I had developed a little bit of anxiety when I was flying. And even that went down. It was really spectacular with this meditation. I ended up also going to Vipassana, a 10-day course in 2 years ago. And from then on, it's been an essential part of my daily routine in the morning.
Lovely, lovely. And okay, so in your book, Walk Like a Warrior, you discuss killing the ego to
Yes.
achieve the transformation. So, what does this process look like? I mean, why is it so essential?
Yes. So the first step, if you the first step is, of course, you as a person, you need to understand first, what is your calling in this life? What's your calling? What's your vision or your purpose? And there's many words for it, but it's really something like, okay, what is it that you can identify and strive towards? This is the first step, and this is something that every person needs to find out by themselves. And this is and this is not what I cover here on how to do that. This is the first thing that you need to figure out yourself. But then comes, usually this is quite clear to a lot of people. What I explain in my book, and what I realized by myself, through my work and also in my personal life, was that the path towards that vision or that purpose, that calling, is usually blocked for a lot of people by their own ego. And what that means is that you have a sense of identity about yourself, and you have a sense of, okay, I am this person, I like this and I don't like that, and I do these things and I don't do these other things. And this is really something which is very much influencing your behavior. And it's the first thing that you need to sacrifice, and this is a big part in my what I express. It's really looking at being very, very honest with yourself and integrating your weaknesses and your strengths, and being very, very honest with yourself. There's a famous quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who was a Russian dissident in the time of the Soviet Union, and he says the line between good and evil runs through the heart of every human being. And what that means is that for yourself, you need to accept that you are doing things that are not serving you, and there's a million excuses about these kind of things. And of course, you will never get rid of it, all of them, but you can and you must get rid of some of these things first, and letting them go. This can even mean some difficult decisions around, saying no to certain events or certain activities that you like doing, but they're not really helping you in any way. It can mean that you also need to take a look at what kind of people are you spending time with. It might sound harsh, but sometimes you can be with the wrong crowd. Let's put it this way. So you need to find, if you really want to transform yourself, you need to find this inner sense of groundedness and this alignment. And you need to be very clear about your own self, and then you can overcome that. And this is, funnily enough, this is the same thing actually for businesses as well. But today we cover more the personal side. So yeah, that's where I would leave it at to now. But I can go on into more detail as well if you like.
Lovely. That's really lovely. So, like you emphasize taking the responsibility for a purpose beyond one's self. Uh,
Yes.
how can individuals find or maybe define that purpose in their work or the personal life? So, what do you say?
Mhm. So when you look at what you find really interesting, or what kind of purpose that you can identify with, in the world, look for something that has an impact and has a value that goes beyond your own self. So this could be helping other people becoming more successful or healthier, or strengthening your community, or strengthening a business. Because after all, our democracies are built on also the amazing results of these businesses, that are creating value and creating great products or services. So find something where it really resonates on a deep level, and you have to write it down as well, where you can really see, okay, this is something that a cause that I would like to put my energy and my time into. And this could be really anything, but it's really important. And I also recommend this also to entrepreneurs, and other people, of course, that when you're starting their business, that try to figure out, when you have a great idea about how to do something great for a customer, for a client, what is
Yeah.
really the deeper value that this service or product brings to the person, beyond just the surface, beyond the superficial things? Does it make them more capable to do certain things? Make them more successful, make them more able to, let's say, lead a better life. And these things are usually on a level beyond, or below, kind of hidden below on the surface. Oh, this is great, and this looks fantastic, and this is much fun, and this is value for money.
Yeah.
So this is really important to figure this out, and it has to really connect with your own sense of, let's say, values as well. And yeah, this is, absolutely essential, I would say.
Perfect, perfect, lovely. And with this, like writing is often kind of reflective process. So, what the insights did you gain while writing Work Like a Warrior? I mean,
Mhm.
and also with this, how did it help you solidify your transformation?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
One, I'm going to start with an example. I was right in the middle of writing, and I'd started almost 3 years ago. And so middle of last year, I was at this point where I thought, okay, what does it take me to finish this book by myself? And then I realized I have to follow my own advice. I have to understand what are the sacrifices I have to make to be able to finish this book. And literally, I'm a very extroverted person. I'm very outgoing. I love meeting friends. I love going out. I love making new connections. But I realized this was a sacrifice I had to make. I really had to reduce this time spending outside, and instead I would literally, on a Friday evening, say, okay, I go to bed early, I get up early the next day, I meditate, I go to the gym, and then I go to the university. It's close here from where I live, and I just write without any distraction, phone off. And of course, you have to tell some people, hey, the next 6 hours you cannot hear from me. It's very difficult in these times because we are connected all the time. But this is all, again, it's, think about the sacrifices you must make if you really want to get there. And yeah, this is just one example of out of my book that I needed to apply. And there's, yeah, probably lots more.
Lovely. That's really lovely. Great. And also, here I'm thinking like you have helped many companies streamline and align their teams and the processes. So, do you find any similarities between helping individuals and helping companies overcome the obstacle?
Yeah, this is something that I realized only a short time ago. That when I talk about killing your ego, in the sense that you have to overcome this idea about yourself, and you have to let go of some of these things, you have to sacrifice these things that were in the past. It applies exactly to businesses as well, because you yourself can only build that future that you desire if you have more time and energy and resources to actually do this. If you just keep doing the same things, you will never succeed at all. And this is the key element here that I've developed and realized also in my approach to how I do these consulting projects with my clients, is that I, of course, I first assess where they are, where they want to go to, what is the strategy, and how are they in their situation, how aligned or misaligned are they. And then the first step out of this piece is that I actually provide the advice to say, these are the things you need to stop doing first. These are the systems you need to maybe decommission. These are the roles that you don't need anymore. These are all the meetings you can just stop because they're not adding any value. And this means that they can do much more with less. They don't have to hire another company with another 10 people, or wait till other people join the company if they want to transform. They stop these things, and this is painful sometimes because people are attached to these things, and then they say, but we're doing this for a reason, and does it mean that we did it wrong in the past? No, it doesn't at all. It just doesn't serve the company anymore for the strategy. So you need to list this. You need to make these tough decisions. They said this is how we stop it. We're taking these people out of these meetings, and we're explaining them, of course, explaining them how, putting them into these new roles and helping them and developing these individuals, because it's all about people, serves themselves as well. They learn new things, they can build their career, and it serves the company as well. And then I work as an integrator to align these different elements, the people, the processes, and the technology to these companies, so that they can really scale, and they can integrate horizontally as well. Because a lot of times this is overlooked. You only optimize in the different silos, in the different horizontal dimensions, like sales, operations, finance. But what is ignored is the end-to-end things, like what is called, for example, the order to cash process. From the moment the customer makes an order to the time that the money hits your bank account, basically, you really have to understand what's going on and streamline it, and this way you can be successful. So it's all about integration and alignment, and it's the same thing with a person.
Wow, lovely. Great. And also, like, this might be a contradictory, but I'll keep it simple. Like, some people might argue that constant introspection and killing the ego could sometimes lead to the self doubt and the hesitation in decision making. So, how do you find the balance between the humility and confidence in the leadership?
Yeah, that's a great question. Fantastic question, really. The way that you build from the position that you have sacrificed these things, and you build that energy and that confidence to go forward. Again, you have to connect and be aligned very much to your purpose. Let the purpose, once you have got to the stage where you're out of humility, let go of these things, you can picture that purpose and you can identify with it. And then it's really about taking responsibility. It's really something like, okay, I'm just one person, but what can I do to make the work a little better? To make to work on something that gets us closer to that purpose, to that calling. And this is the way to do it. If you really identify it, then you've made those sacrifices, and then you take those actions. This is how you build the confidence. And yeah, from this on, I would say leads a lot of other things, about connecting to the right people, asking for what you want, really describing it with authenticity, and always having that purpose in mind, because that by definition, this is what means, what I try to, that's why I picked the archetype of the warrior as a representation, because the warrior is ready to sacrifice make the ultimate sacrifice. Sacrifice himself or herself, the life for the higher purpose. And just taking that example is the way to overcome the ego and then build on that and pursue that goal so that you are authentic and alignment.
Got it. Lovely. Great. So, thank you so much, Vincent, for sharing your incredible journey with us. And from the high stakes world of business to the reflective realms of meditation and the personal growth, your insights reminds us that true success comes from a balance between ambition and the groundedness. So, for the listeners, Walk Like a Warrior offers so many tools to transform both professionally and personally. And Vincent's story is definitely the proof that it's never too late to make that shift. So, with this, I'll also ask Vincent if someone wants to connect with you or wanted to have a copy of the book, so how they can connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. So my book is available on Amazon, print on demand, or as an ebook. So this is you will find it if you look for Work Like a Warrior. Also, professionally, look on LinkedIn and connect with me and follow me. I'm there under my name, Vincent Gressieker, and I will keep posting also free content, free advice, linking also to my new YouTube channel, which I've just started. So I will be sharing more content, more advice, and really tools to help you find also more fulfillment in your work lives, by applying them as well. So this is it's two things. And if there's and of course I'm open to any requests from any businesses where they want to take a look at these operations and look at efficiencies, especially when it's either impeding growth, or we have a time now, for example, in Germany, where the economy is stagnating, and we need to really look at efficiency to become better at managing these companies and having better results. So there, drop me a message. Happy to schedule a call. And I've also, you can also find me on TikTok now and on Instagram. But the primary channels here for the book, Amazon, LinkedIn. Drop me a message, and I'll be happy to reply.
Wow, lovely, great. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining on Mindful Living. And we are all leaving today a little more inspired to walk with the purpose and live with meaning. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Avik. It's been a pleasure.